So how do we introduce the most infamous terrorist in gaming history? How about this guy successfully assaulted a US carrier group, he destroys Los Angeles, spreads anti-capitalist and anti-America sentiment globally, and oh, if that's not impressive enough, he hijacks the entire US drone fleet. I am a B tier patriot, okay? So this video is gonna be tough for me, and I'm gonna ruin the flow of the video over explaining shit. Nonetheless, if you haven't figured it out by now, today we're gonna rank Raul Menendez. If you don't understand what's going on, you'll figure it out soon enough. So, where do we start? Well, first off, is this a war crime?
They are weak! We must finish them!
I know shooting surrendering soldiers is 100% a war crime, but I'm not sure about retreating soldiers. As for Menendez, his story actually starts with Woods. Yeah, back in like 1986, and it's heavily implied whatever the fuck happened to Woods, Menendez did it. And if you're unfamiliar with his game, you're probably thinking, what did Menendez do to Woods? Well, we don't know exactly what happened, but we do know that when we find Woods, he's in a funky ass, hot ass shipping container with the rotting corpses of his friends. It's insane. You open the thing, there's bugs and just dead bodies, bro. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how they got that approved. Anyways, yeah, Menendez is a cruel motherfucker, bro. So anyways, we save Woods and he becomes the key to tracking down Menendez. Speaking of Menendez, when do we meet this guy? So remember how we saved Woods, right? We infiltrate this village and we need to send an evac request, after finding Woods. Or maybe this was before, I don't know, but we need to find an evac, okay? So we need a radio, and there's a person operating the radio, and he is none other than Menendez. We try to force him to hand over the radio, but of course he breaks it, and it's kind of shocking at first, but you will come to realize that Menendez is a stubborn little fucker. He's one of them ones, okay? Anyways, you know what I'm saying? He breaks the radio. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? No mission goes to plan. Gotta improvise. You know what I'm saying? There's like a saying. His homies burst in, so we take him hostage. Now, he's over here being a smug and cocky little prick, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, it was pissing me off. Bro, you're not netted. You're a hostage. There's a gun to your head. Act like it. So Menendez thinks he's him, right? And he whips a grenade out and pulls the pin, right? And then he does this reversal and tries to stab us. But of course, we're a goddamn champion, okay? We're a US soldier. So of course, Woods catches the knife, and I'm very impressed with Menendez's fighting skills. But unfortunately for him, he still catches a bullet to the face. After this, we escape and he's presumably dead. I mean, you shoot a guy in the eye, you assume that he's dead, right? So yeah, well, to no one's surprise, he actually survives getting shot in the face. And that's the exact reason we are here, to respectfully interrogate Woods. And it turns out, since getting shot in the face, Menendez has been getting his life on track by selling that shit. Okay, Menendez got it out the mud for real. And bro said, I'm finna be hood rich. He started selling that stuff. He started a cartel, and it's brutal. I'm talking about, this isn't all cartels aren't bad. You know what I'm saying? Not all gang members are bad. Some of them do things for the community. Nah, he lives up to all the stereotypes: brutalizing, terrorizing, sodomy, all kinds of crimes. Okay, disembowel, anything you can think of, they're doing to people. It's terrible. Okay, so outside of that, outside of leading a very brutal cartel, he also has gotten, air quotes, cozy with the Chinese. And it's crazy how many things they got right in this campaign, albeit they didn't nail it, right? They didn't hit the bullseye, but they got it in the ballpark, which is insane for a game that's probably a decade old by now. Anyways, Menendez has been building this cult fan base over Twitter, and despite seeing some cringe and generic shit, he's very well received. And I'm a white knight for the internet, but the wild thing about it is, since there's so many of us in the world with internet access, no matter what someone thinks, no matter how crazy it is, there's someone out there that will agree with you. Like, you can say some silly and stupid shit, right? Like Menendez is doing. This is not hitting, okay? He's saying some, I don't know what the fuck he got going on over there, but nonetheless, bro, if you get, what, 1% of Norfolk, Virginia to agree with you, you now have 2,300 followers. If you get 1% of New York to agree with your dumbass opinion, you now have around 87,000 followers. And from there, you have the influence to reach an absurd amount of people. And well, yeah, Menendez is the embodiment of using influence to get away with terrorism. I'm telling you, you can get away with anything if you have the people on your side. Depending on what it is, because I mean, you got the people on your side and still go to fucking jail. Anyways, so we get the low and we raid this facility, right? And we find out that Menendez has been investing in weapons technology, and apparently he has access to the world's strongest GPU/CPU. Insert whatever computer component you want. Whichever one is really important to processing an absurd amount of information, right? I believe that would be like either RAM, GPU, CPU. I'm gonna go with CPU. And I don't know what he's planning to do with that and why it's significant outside of the fact that Public Enemy #1 has it. But hey, the end product is greater than the sum of its parts or whatever. So Frank went to wherever the fuck this is to capture and interrogate this Russian guy. I think his name's Krevchenko. And apparently I'm not convincing enough, right? We didn't get anything out of the guy, and I'm sorry that I didn't have the heart to waterboard the fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the enemy, but he still has human rights. All right, I'm not gonna mutilate a guy for information. Anyways, so back to Menendez, and it's 1986, and he's chilling with his sister, consoling her while she sleeps. And I know there's a little bit of a culture gap here, but this is a little too intimate for me, not gonna lie. And I understand other cultures in Southern Americans, like Mexicans and whatnot, are extremely family oriented and they get really close to their brothers, sisters, and whatever, but a little too intimate for me. Yeah, just saying, we might have to put a microscope on that one, okay? But that's not the point. Someone knocks on the door and boom, alright, I believe it's Panamanian soldiers, but this takes place in Nicaragua, so I don't know what they call the military. Anyways, they burst into, presumably arrest Menendez for being an international fucking terrorist. And you're gonna see a reoccurring theme of the US and its subsidiaries catching Menendez, but then some weird, fluky bullshit happens and then he escapes. But he also gets to the point where he's the embodiment of luck. Luck in this case being the formula: preparation plus opportunity equals luck. And crushing his influence and manipulation. This motherfucker is a master manipulator. Like, this is, I forgot her name from Chainsaw Man, but that level of fucking manipulation on steroids. Menendez is finished, alright? And for some reason, after catching Menendez, right? Look, for the lack of a better word, they drag his sister out of bed and prepare to, like, physically assault her, which makes no fucking sense. But Menendez is rightfully angry and he breaks out of his restraints and kills the guy, right? And okay, I 100% get it, this isn't like BS or anything, but like, how the fuck does he escape both of you? What were y'all doing? Why didn't you handcuff the guy or start carrying him away? Either way, I'm not mad, because I'm pretty sure this doesn't happen that often, but it does happen a lot more than any enforcement authority is willing to admit that it does. So either way, Menendez is restrained and sedated. And on one hand, I'm like, why didn't you start with that? And on the second hand, I'm like, stop being a homer. Bro, Menendez stood on straight business. All right. So now this next part, I can't really explain, okay? And I don't know how to rationalize it. So I'm just going to tell you how it happened and then try to make it digestible at the end, okay? So this Nicaraguan sergeant captain guy, right, has brought Menendez to a hill. Why did he bring him to a hill? I don't fucking know. Maybe he wanted to execute the guy. Maybe he was supposed to meet the special forces here to hand him off. I don't know. Nonetheless, he ends up betraying his soldiers, sets Menendez free, and Menendez, being the logical, reasonable man of influence he proceeds to knock the guy out and go on a fucking rampage. And I don't know how to explain this bedtime story ass rampage, okay? This folklore ass rampage. So here's a montage. After this, Menendez makes it back to the house and attempts to find his sister when he gets grabbed. And he's about to fight whomever this guy is. It turns out this is... So as he's about to fight the guy with the glasses, right, a grenade comes from off screen. Menendez aborts the fight and attempts to dive on the grenade, which blows him somewhere that was not the room, okay? And before we proceed, let's try to make sense of what the just happened, because this sounds a bit embellished, for lack of a stronger word, okay? I don't know, it seems embellished and dramatized to wake you up, get the blood pumping, you know. There's a lot of story here, so we gotta throw something in here to make you be like, yo, what the but and I was like, oh, maybe he didn't try to shoot Menendez because he didn't want to, you know, he didn't want a friendly fire incident. But he chucks a grenade in a hallway full of his fellow soldiers. Bro, dog, this game is fucking amazing, dog. Now, obviously, Menendez miraculously survives not only being shot in the eye, but getting blown up by a fucking grenade. And in fact, not only does he survive getting blown up by a fucking grenade, he is in the best shape of his fucking life and survives, because now it's 2025 and Mason is sent to collect intel on him. Now, the stress and or anticipation of the mission causes Mason to relive some childhood trauma and is starting to realize he was there for something. He doesn't know what he was there for, but he knows it involved Menendez and some kind of basement. But in all seriousness, Harper's animation going up the stairs is pure fucking comedy.
Monitor the area. Keep me updated.
So we break into the meeting grounds and whatnot and begin to stalk Menendez. And he talks a lot, or he talks about a lot. But what stood out to me is he makes a couple references to being watched. And at first I called bullshit. And I mean, it's one, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one thing to be public enemy number one and feel like you're being watched and tracked every time you're out in the open, because, well, you are. And I'm pretty sure some of our bearded friends in the desert were aware that they were being surveilled and tracked during some incursions, to say the least. But you know, to know, yeah, I'm being watched and there's 2 Americans listening in on us right now is a little much. You know, it's a little too fucking specific to the situation for me. But it's only bullshit if you forget the fact that we fought through an entire city to get here, and it wasn't the quietest fight of all time. I mean, we blew up like 2 helicopters. There was a fucking minigun involved, bro. It wouldn't be hard in 2020 fucking 5 to say, hey, someone's here. Like, because like in 2018 we had crazy shit like motion detectors, thermal cameras, pressure plates, silent alarms. According to this 2020 article, the US government has or is developing a heartbeat detecting laser. All right, so it's not hard to figure out somebody has infiltrated where you are. So yeah, us fighting through a city filled with soldiers loyal to Menendez and his subsidiaries, then being surprised that when he says, hey, the Americans are here and they're following us, it's a little shallow by our commentating here. But I told y'all I'm a homer and I'm biased because fuck Menendez. So this smug son of a bitch leads us to an ambush point, right? And the phenomenal thing, right, it's a phenomenal play, I ain't gonna lie. Good shit, you got us here. And honestly, the cat and mouse game he plays with the task force needs to be studied. And isn't that funny coming from a dude that's about to drop like a 15 to 20 minute video about this guy saying that, hey, the something he did in the game needs to be studied. Bro, you do it. You're the one making the video. I'm not doing it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. So Menendez gets us jumped, right? And we barely escape with our lives. And this was badass because and great improv and foresight by Menendez. You know what I'm saying? Flawless execution. I would clap, but it would turn my mic off. What pisses me off though is he says, oh my god, this fucking jackass. Alright, he goes like, oh, I engineered it, right? Someone's like, oh, there's an infiltration. He's like, I know, I engineered it. Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, sure. I think I hate Menendez because he does like all the cool shit, right? No, like he does all the cool shit, but he spends the entirety of his time on camera rubbing his own nuts. And like, I just get pissed off when other people are constantly rubbing someone's nuts or their own nuts, right? But like, to see someone like, to many of you call it glazing, right? Wouldn't you be pissed off if you see somebody constantly glazing themselves? Like, it pisses me off, bro. Shut the fuck up. Just do what you gotta do, right? Everything doesn't need a quote. Everything doesn't need a riddle, bro. Just do what you gotta do and keep it pushing. Why are you trying to be? You're not netted. Stop it. So Mason and Harper make a fantastical escape and cause a comical amount of collateral damage. But we get picked up and saved by the Chinese, who are doing the equivalent of that Russian warship that witnessed Operation Praying Mantis when they pull up and say, oh, we were just in the area, we aren't involved in this whatsoever, we were just chilling through. But unlike the Russian battle boat, he makes a subtle threat toward us, and it's like funny because I lost my spot, god damn it. And it's funny because the game came out when China was getting like a lot of hype, and it's kind of cool how they called like a rivalry between America and China, which I can't remember. I don't understand. I don't know if they classify it as a Cold War now, but we're heading toward a Cold War towards China. And I'll take a Cold War over a hot war any day of the fucking week. And you know what I'm saying? They really nailed the importance of drones and how they would drastically affect warfare. And they even called like it would make terrorists more terror-y. I don't know what the word for more, you get it. Now, they didn't hit the bullseye, but they got in the ballpark, which is very impressive. And I'm gonna leave it here before I get into a rant about drones, the J-20 and the FC-31. So remember how Menendez has the world's strongest CPU? Well, we found out that he needs this thing called Karma to use it. It's unclear what Karma is or what it really does, and it's kind of funny how this guy has the world's most powerful CPU, right? And he doesn't even have a relative computer to use the damn thing. So he infiltrates this floating private island, right? And we find out that Karma is a girl. And crazy how I discovered this floating private island in game, and we just had that Jeffrey situation go down. Unfortunately, there's some mercenary puppets here, or some of Menendez's puppets here. So we have to fight our way through to find Karma and grab her before they do. So we make our way to the club, right? And the music is so loud, no one noticed what happened on the floor below. And, you know, we're walking through the club, and I'm like, they ain't got no yams. So we find Karma, and some guy starts making a scene, right? He shoots a hostage and threatens another. And we ask Salazar to take the shot, and he says,
No shot. Too many hostages.
and I'm like, bitch, he's shooting the hostages. What do you mean there's too many? Anyways, but before we can argue, Karma reveals herself and punches Harper, and her heroism leads to her getting kidnapped and more hostages getting shot. Good fucking job. I mean, it's not her fault, but good fucking job, Karma. We start running down DeFalco, right? And this soundtrack is hitting, I'm not gonna lie. So we're fighting through, and DeFalco is trying to slip out the back when...
Lights up, fucker.
Val, help me with the garbage.
So, without your expertise, Menendez's plans for Solarium will have hit a roadblock.
It may slow his progress, but it won't stop him. He'll get what he wants. Believe me.
I don't know what you mean. He always gets what he wants, right? He always gets what he wants, because we're about even right now. All right, let's go through the record. All right, they get in a fight. Frank shoots him in the face. 1-0 America. He becomes a terrorist. 1-1. We blow him the fuck up. 2-1. He starts manipulating the public. 2-2. We discovered Solarium and stole you from him. So I don't know if you want to count that as 2 victories or 1. We'll be fair. So yeah, we're up 3-2 right now. Like scoreboard, shoddy. What do the fuck you mean he gets what he wants? He's losing. So it's 1986, and we catch the fucker that set Menendez free. Unfortunately, we can't just execute his bum ass because we need him for a deal. It's unclear to us what the deal is. So the plan is to capture him and run a smear campaign against him, you know, but as we're about to send him off to be, you know, hidden from the public so we can smear his reputation, we get there's a bigger fish in the pond type deal going on, and we gotta, you know, we can't smear the guy. We need him for a trade or whatever. So we follow him through the city or whatever, and they bring out Raul Menendez, and Frank gets to execute him with a sniper round. It turns out we were double crossed, and we end up shooting Mason instead. And this is why you always visually ID your target, especially when you're dealing with these shady little fuckers. Funny little detail, if you pay attention in the thing, especially watching it back, you can see that when you're zooming in on the scope to execute air quotes Menendez, you can see that he's actually wearing army pants, not like Menendez walks around in like slacks or khakis and shit like that, you know, dress pants. So if you notice that, if you're really sharp with your eyes, you can be like, hold on, something's amiss here. Why the fuck is he wearing US Army pants? Okay, to be fair, it's unclear if they knew the guy with the red hat was a sleazeball, but you know what I mean, better safe than sorry. So Menendez drags Mason's dead body there, like in the basement, right, with Frank, Alex, and Hudson. Hudson is the dude with the glasses. Okay, now my question is, how the fuck did he get Alex and Hudson? Why did they bring their kid to Nicaragua during a raid? Dog, that needs to be studied. And Hudson, what was he doing there? He's I don't get it. So he proceeds to give Frank a darkness lecture, right? And before making a torture vow to Alex, Frank says, we were the best and we still couldn't stop him. And I say to that, you shot the guy in the face and hit him with a frag grenade. Bro, him being alive is an act of divinity at this point. So, I also glossed over the fact that he brutally murders Hudson in front of both of them. Like, he shoots both of his knees out and slices his throat. in front of a fucking middle schooler, that's kind of fucked up. So Karma starts decrypting, and it turns out this Solarium thing is basically, like, for lack of a better word, it basically insta-fucks any kind of firewall or encryption you have, right? It's what most of you would call like an auto hack or a digital master key. And that makes a lot of sense. And this is the catalyst for how wild shit is about to get. So after realizing Menendez can hack into whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the hell he wants, the states immediately move to nab him. Menendez gets word that that the Americans are moving, and he said there's a traitor among us. And then when asked who, he says, "It matters not." And then he majestically throws the door open and starts walking through his protesters, right? Or his, whatever the fuck you want to, through his cult, okay? It's a fucking cult, all right? He flings the door open and starts walking past his cult members, gassing them up, all right? And you know what I'm saying? He goes to host this rally. And during this rally, an Osprey 2 shows up. I don't know what to call it, bro. It's a Jet Osprey, all right? And it gets insta-fucked. And I don't understand why they get so close to the stage. Now, this is going to be a reoccurring thing, by the way, but it is what it is. So we catch up to Menendez, and he shoots down an Osprey carrying Harper. And I'm like, bro, why are you flying that low? Like, where are the countermeasures, bro? At this point in time, like, the helicopter drones or whatever Menendez doesn't have an air force, all right? Outside of the little drone helicopters, he doesn't have an air force or any fixed-wing aircraft, right? Hell, he doesn't even have an S-300 or a Book, okay? Like, why aren't we flying outside of man-pad range, right? Why is everyone so oblivious to the fact that these fuckers have man-pads? And why don't they have countermeasures? Where's the flares? Where's the chaff? The jamming? Come on, guys. And can someone explain to me why they call shoulder-launched missiles man-pads? That would be really nice. So after shooting down the Osprey, he says something to Fareed and then throws the space igloo at him, right? Then he struts over to the Osprey. I'm really killing him with these adjectives, bro. No, it would be adverbs because I'm describing his actions. So I'm killing him with these adverbs, I'm not gonna lie. So then he struts over to the Osprey to confront any survivors, and by some twisted miracle, it's Harper. So I hate this man Menendez, bro. So, bro, he's like simultaneously the most efficient and luckiest villain in video game history. It's crazy. But hey, when you're good, sometimes shit just works out for you. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Alright, so they capture Harper, and Fareed is forced to shoot Harper. Given how close they are and how much they've been through, there's no way Fareed is shooting Harper, bro. So he tries to assassinate Menendez, and for some reason, Fareed mistakes his pistol for a pocket knife and attempts to touch Menendez with the gun instead of just shooting the guy, which obviously Menendez counters and shoots Fareed. Raul struts around in sadness and confusion before his second personality kicks in, and he starts lecturing Fareed before executing him. So yeah, the guy is human and he can be caught off guard despite having like a mole in the task force hunting him. Rip Fareed though. W Mans. So after executing Fareed, Menendez makes a run for it, and I'm assuming he realized he's finished because he's sitting in an Osprey with no pilot or passengers. Then we fly him to the USS Barack Obama, and at first I was flattered to see that they named the ship after Obama, but given what they're about to do to the ship, that doesn't last very long. So the head of the US Navy is here, right, to personally insult Menendez before imprisoning him, and this is where shit starts getting off the rails. So I'm getting sick of this man Menendez, bro. Like, bro is speaking in quotes and riddles, and it's like, bro, talk, stop quoting, speak. So they're interrogating this guy, right? And Salazar punches him in the face. Then Menendez requests Alex, the kid he made a torture vow to. He says something about American causing fires for insurance money, and I'm like, okay. Then he says, your people took Josefina from me, and I'm like, we were there because you're a fucking terrorist hiding out in a foreign country. Josefina would be alive if you weren't a fucking terrorist. Also, you were arrested by Nicaraguans. Nonetheless, during our interrogation, a passenger jet flies into our airspace and releases a massive drone attack. And we're just gonna assume there was a massive sleight of hand or lack of foresight or something going on to get this plane within visual range of a fucking carrier battle group. But yeah, if they got one thing right, the only way to really beat modern ships in general, much less a fucking US carrier group, is a massive saturation attack. Just a colossal amount of drones and missiles, right? And this is one for the ages. Let me tell you about this shit. So the ship takes a hit, right? And Menendez miraculously escapes his handcuffs. And yeah, he escapes by, you know, knocking out Alex by threatening to shoot Salazar in the face. And we know why Alex is alive, but it's a miracle that Salazar is alive. Why would he spare Salazar? But in the confusion, we don't have time to think about it. Maybe Menendez isn't a bloodthirsty maniac, as much of a bloodthirsty maniac as we thought. Hold that thought. So we fight through the ship trying to repulse this attack, right? And they put the fucking wrench into this because it's not just the carrier itself. The entire fucking battle group is under attack. Nonetheless, we catch up with Menendez, and he has Briggs as a hostage. Briggs tells Salazar oh my gosh. So he tells Salazar, for the love of God, shoot through me to kill Menendez if you has to. So how will this beloved Special Forces soldier who took a vow to serve his country react to such a colossal situation with a massive amount of pressure on his shoulders?
No!
Yeah, he shoots his fellow seaman and reveals himself as a traitor. Like, holy fucking okay, so that's how Menendez broke free. That's how he subdued Salazar. Like, that's how he knows where the fucking carrier is. Like, believe it or not, those big floating cities we call aircraft carriers are surprisingly hard to track. Also, I was kind of wondering, Salazar, how the fuck do you lose a fight to, like, I don't know how old Menendez is in this campaign, but like, he's visually aging. Bro is like pushing 50, pushing 60, and you lost a fight to him as he was getting out of handcuffs, and you had a gun. But it turns out he just didn't fight the guy. He just let him out the handcuffs and pretended to be a hostage, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, so Menendez is uploading a virus into the computer of the Barack Obama, right? Now, this gives him access to presumably all the drones on board. That would make logical sense. He would have access to what's on the ship. But no, he gets access to not only all the drones in the U.S. Air Force or whatever, he gets control of all the satellites, which is fucking insane. Like, bro is really soloing America over here, bro. He's soloing America over a dead sister, bro. That's fucking wild. Funny enough, following up the hijacking of the U.S. drone fleet, Madam President vows to protect China from a drone strike. And I'm like, very nice, but why? And the Air Force is taken down, right? Oh yeah, oh, get this shit. So Air Force One, right? We all know Air Force One. It's how they fly the president around, right? It's taken down by a man-pad in Los Angeles. And once again, I'm like, why the fuck are you flying that low in your own airspace? Like, and where are the countermeasures? Nonetheless, Menendez is attempting to assassinate the president, or so we thought, and destroy Los Angeles, which he 100% was trying to do the latter part. And he has like these moles in Los Angeles, and this turns into, well, the Battle of Los Angeles, except for it's not aliens this time. So we fight through the city trying to protect Madam President. I feel like I said protect funny. We try to protect Madam President. Eventually, the manned Air Force shows up and vetoes and immediately takes control of the airspace over Los Angeles. And I'm starting to think, why are they so scared of this drone fleet if the manned Air Force just completely obliterates them when they show up? Like, this is the second time it's happened. It happens after the carrier situation. So somehow, some way, Menendez still has control over the entirety of the US drone fleet and all of its military satellites. And I wonder if they could just track him or use private satellites to get him, right? Anyways, we launched this massive air raid on Haiti where he's hiding out, and I feel like so we launched this massive air raid on Haiti where he's hiding out, and for some reason we didn't run any seed operations before sending in probably the largest air invasion since the Second World War, or maybe in history, right? So we are apparently the seed operations, despite when this game being developed, I believe the HARM missile had a publicly disclosed range of 13 to 80 fucking miles. So why Sam still exists over here, bro? I don't know, man. Maybe it's cinematic, okay? So we push into this building and it's heavily guarded, obviously, because Menendez is here. So after some intense fighting, we reach this control panel, and this man Menendez he's just the ultimate finesser, right? So he shuts it down. He locks us out. We can't get control of the drones back. But not only does he shut down the thing and defeat us by not letting us complete our objective, despite getting I don't know if that would be a tactical victory, he starts live streaming, and holy bro, take the mics away. So he starts talking mad shit, okay? He calls Los Angeles the flagship of American materialism, and I'm like, bro, he is generalizing the absolute hell out of us right now. He also says, y'all thought I wanted to assassinate the president, but if I wanted to, I would have done it already. And I'm like, that's kind of a badass speech, and normally I'd call this out as BS and him rubbing his own nuts again, but given how we can't defend against simple fucking man pads, Air Force One doesn't have flares, jamming, or chaff, and we allow things to get within Korean War era dogfighting ranges, I believe him. He probably could have. I'm not gonna lie to you. So he then self-destructs the entirety of the US drone fleet and calls for the world to kick America while they're down, for lack of a better word. And while this is a little naive, because there's still, a manned fleet of planes and whatnot, that's not to mention that although he put the USS Barack Obama out of commission for this conflict, which is still a massive feat. That is crazy. This is like the modern warfare equivalent of blowing up a fucking planet in an anime, right? But yeah, last time I checked, America has 11 nuclear powered super carriers, and I'm assuming the Obama is a fictional 12th. So in this situation, right, in game, in universe, you still now have to deal with 11 other super carriers. And I don't know if this was public when the game was in development, but yeah, only those 11 are just the super carriers. That's not counting regular medium carriers, non-nuclear ones, or the little helicopter carriers, right, that we and our allies have. And fun fact, Stovall versions of the F-35 can operate on those. And I mean, they were projecting and they got a lot of things right, but by 2025, yeah, there's no other country with a naval stealth aircraft. I mean, China they're working on it, maybe. Russia isn't even fucking close. All right, you know what I'm saying? Given all that, I'm just like, Menendez, try your luck, buddy. And am I caping? Am I being a homer? Am I being a fucking patriot? You're goddamn right, I'm caping for my country, cause God bless America. Anyways, but in all seriousness, we aren't given any context. So right now, Menendez has America on both knees and elbow right now. And I'm still trying to figure out how Menendez got all this motion. I get how he's doing his terrorist things, but I don't get why people are following him, because he doesn't have a message, right? He doesn't have a goal. Well, obviously he has a goal. He hates America. He wants to cause pain and whatever, but that's not something you would follow. He just spits a bunch of quote, oh, American materialism, oh, capitalism. He's spitting out keywords. He's not using the keywords to build a coherent message to actually get people to follow him. So that I don't freaking understand. Anyways, nonetheless, we end up pushing through the building and we eventually catch up to Menendez, and we've been waiting 8 hours for this. So, and we have some unfinished business when we catch up to him.
I got you, brother.
You had me worried, man. For a while there, I thought you were gonna let that bastard live.
Yeah, fuck all that. I was not letting him live. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, Black Ops fans will know that this gives you the bad ending, per se, if you shoot the guy. Now, in universe, genuinely, I think it would make no difference whether Menendez lives or dies, because people are going to react. Like, a lot of his stuff was public, so there wasn't really much he could do. Like, the damage was already done. He's already manipulated the public, or a comical amount of people. He crippled the US Air Force. He already made his videos and whatnot. So, like, it doesn't matter whether he lives or dies. He's done everything that he could logically do. The only thing that he can do is, like, try to enhance what he's done or keep it going, you know, fan the flame per se or whatnot. So he can do that from prison. So he gotta go. I shot his ass, I'm not gonna lie, and I do not feel bad about it whatsoever. So yeah, where does Menendez fall among our very young list here? Well, let's review. He gets in an epic fight with Frank Woods. He survives getting shot in the face. He kidnaps and brutally murders Hudson in front of Frank and Kid Alex while less than 10 feet away from David Mason, who he also had murdered. He hosts a rally where he discovers the mole and executes Fareed. If you go for the good ending, he gets Fareed to murder his presumably best friend Harper in a very, very sad scene. He intentionally gets caught as a Trojan horse and has his mole in the special forces team that's hunting him, by the way, set him free so he can launch a massive drone saturation attack on a US carrier group as a distraction, as he hacks the ship and takes control of the entire US drone fleet and the satellites and whatnot. And you know what's the crazy part about all this is that he gets this far and it works. And while he's crippling one of the most well-guarded assets in the goddamn world, he, like I said, hijacks the notorious US satellite network along with the entirety of the drone fleet. He raids Los Angeles and proceeds to mentally terrorize several cities, threatening to bomb and attack them just to blow up the drones in front of them on live fucking television. But his luck eventually runs out because he's essentially played all his cards by now, and the nerfed US has been on his ass the entire fucking game. Now he has, no more freebies, no more trump cards, no more get out of jail free cards, no more lives, okay? So he dies when Alex Mason assassinates him after a brief fight, and in the good ending, he gets life in prison, which breaks the presumed curse he puts on Alex. And yeah, given all that, yeah, get your bum ass in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Honestly, I'm mad he did it against us, but we've been depicted far worse in video games. Oh god, we've been depicted far worse. I don't know what word just came out of my mouth, but I'm keeping it in there. Nonetheless, the actor for Menendez actually passed away, and all praise to that guy because he ate this role the fuck up. All right, like, I genuinely dislike Menendez, and I have a comical amount of hatred for the guy, and that's the sign of a phenomenal and well-played villain. If I don't hate your fucking villain, your villain isn't good enough. So yeah, I think he's a perfect first entry into the Hall of Fame tier. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. I know people love Black Ops 2. Really good game. Wish I played multiplayer when I had the chance. Right now, you probably could. Right now, but there's probably a fuck ton of hackers, and then the game is like so foreign to me, despite just beating the campaign, that it probably wouldn't be a pleasant experience. Campaign was fun, loved the games. Menendez is a fucking beast. Now we're gonna figure out who I'm gonna do next. It's either gonna be Master Chief or Zakhaev and Makarov. One of those three. Zakhaev and Makarov will be one because they split between 3 games, and I don't feel like doing them individually, but that would just lead to a bigger video. Nonetheless, until we meet in that video or the comments, remember every no man, because we know we have next, sponsored by Atari, and
The joint will be hopping. The octopus said the same thing to Yoshi. It's about being patient, picking your moment. So snap out of it. You can't let a couple of losses blow you off course. You don't have to win now, just someday. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Well, it kills the octopus.